Hey, Steve here from GuitarZoom. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to be looking at how to use a kind of a trick with your pentatonics to be able to play all sorts of different sounds simply using the same scale. Now, in order to do this, what we need to do is we need to understand just a little bit about what we call the major scale. Now, you need to trust me on this, although I would recommend you studying this at some point if you don't know any of this information. Let's say we're in the key of G major, for instance, which means we have the notes G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and then G. Okay, so those are our 7 notes. What we're going to do is we're going to build pentatonic scales off of each one of those notes, mainly the first 6 notes. All right, so what we need to do then is understand that in the key of G, we get these 7 different notes. We get 7 different chords as well. So your first, your fourth, and your fifth are major. Your second, third, and sixth are minor. And then your 7th is diminished, but we're not going to worry about that one. So that means that we get G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, and E minor, and then F sharp diminished, which we're not going to worry about, in the key of G. And that actually works for any major key that you would be in. Your 1, 4, 5 is major, your 2, 3, 6 is minor, and then your 7 is diminished. So what that means for us is if we were doing something in the key of G, now I'm going to play just a static G chord for you, and I'm going to just show you how this works. What we could do then is we could play G major pentatonic, which makes sense, but we could also play A minor pentatonic, B minor pentatonic, C major pentatonic, D major pentatonic, E minor pentatonic, and then again F sharp diminished. We're gonna skip that for now. Okay, so let's go to our guitar and look at what this would look like then. If we were in the key of G, we've got ourselves a G major pentatonic, and I'm going to play that on the 12th fret up here, okay? I could play it down here with the open strings if that's easier for you to see. Then we're going to have the A minor pentatonic because the second chord in the key of G is minor. And then we've got B minor pentatonic. And then we've got C major pentatonic, but if you know anything about your theory, C major and A minor are the same notes. Now, you might play it somewhere else on the guitar, and you can play any of those anywhere you want on the guitar, but C major and A minor are going to overlap, just like D major and B minor are going to overlap. And then we've got E minor and G major, which overlap. So what we're left with then is G major pentatonic, A minor pentatonic, B minor pentatonic. Those are the ones we're going to focus on, are those 3. Now, if I just start my track, which I'm going to play for you in a second here, and I just move around in these randomly, and I'm going to do that, you're going to find that there really isn't any continuity to these 3 shapes. Now, what makes this cool is when you go up here to the G major pentatonic, it's going to have the sound that you're used to, okay? Trying to direct yourself toward the note G. It's going to have that G major, blues, pentatonic, you know, southern rock kind of sound to it. If we go to A minor and play over the G, we might have to do some work here to try and give it some sort of direction. Instead of trying to emphasize the A's, which is fine, but it's not really making a connection to the chord G, all right? So if we think about it, if we play this A minor pentatonic, we have a G inside the A minor pentatonic, okay? We have A, C, D, E, and G. So we could at least take that note and push ourselves toward the note G in the A minor pentatonic, if that makes sense, because that's the chord that we're playing over. Now, you wouldn't have to do that, but that might be a good start. Another thing that you could try and emphasize would be the note D. Now, why the D? Because if you know anything about your triads, the G chord consists of the notes G, B, and D. Inside A minor pentatonic, we're given a G, and we're also given a D. Now, we don't have the B in there. Now, not that we couldn't add it in, but let's not worry about that right now. So I could play this A minor pentatonic and just sort of direct my motion toward the G or the D. That doesn't mean I can't emphasize other notes. Of course I can. But I just have to be careful so when I'm doing this A minor pentatonic over G, it doesn't just sound random. I'm trying to give it some element of purpose, and I have a really great trick at the end I'm going to show you. You can use all of this stuff. Okay, so let's move to the B minor pentatonic and do the same thing. So if I move to B minor pentatonic... Okay, so if we play that, I've got the notes B, D, E, F sharp, and then right here, A. So I don't even have the note G in here. Okay, so what am I going to go for? Well, if I think about it, if I was playing a G, G has B in it, and G also has D in it. So those two notes could be notes that I could go for, which would be kind of nice because if I'm looking at this as D major pentatonic, that means I could be playing in G major pentatonic and D major pentatonic, and it would sound just fine. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull up this track, and we're going to just listen to this a little bit. It's literally just a static G sound. That's all I'm doing is playing that. So let's listen to this. I'm going to go to A minor. Now I'm going to go to B minor or D major, whatever you want to call it. Again, you're going to notice that if I just play them, it sounds a little bit random. So what I want to do is I want to try and keep giving this some sort of direction, right? We already talked about that. So if I'm playing A minor pentatonic, I might be moving toward the G or moving toward the D or something like that. But there's a really great kind of visual that you could use for this if you decide to explore this. What I always teach people is if we were in the key of G, so we have A minor pentatonic, which is C major pentatonic, we have B minor pentatonic, which is D major pentatonic. But what we're going to do here is in the B minor / D major pentatonic, we're going to use the top two strings. We're going to try and emphasize the sound of those top two strings. Now, why? Like the sound, we're not just going for a note that connects to the chord, but more so the notes that kind of stand out and really emphasize the sound of this particular pentatonic scale over the top of that G. So I'm going to use those. I can use the whole scale. You can do whatever you want. But I'm really going to try and focus on those notes. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move down and I'm going to play the second string and the third string of the A minor. And I'm going to show you what that sounds like. And then I can always resolve back into G major and do all the normal stuff that I would do. Okay? So let's take a look at this one. So I'm going to start in the B minor and then move to the A minor and then resolve back in G. Turn that off. So it's pretty cool because you can get a lot of different unique sounds by doing this. Now, that's not saying that if you already know your diatonic, you shouldn't use that sort of thing. Of course, you can do anything you want. This just kind of separates these notes and makes it kind of unique sounding. So it's kind of fun, even if you just go over there for a brief time when you're playing in G major and you drop down. Maybe you just do something like that and then you're back in where, again, whatever position, wherever you want to go on the guitar. But you could drop back into G major and resolve the whole thing. So it's kind of a cool way of being able to separate that. So basically what we're doing is taking the notes of the major scale, in this case G, and we're identifying what the chord qualities are, 1, 4, 5 being major, 2, 3, 6 being minor. and we're not worried about the 7. And so we're building we're building pentatonic scales off of each one of those chords, okay? That's what's happening. The only thing is for a guitar player, A minor and C major occupy the same space with the same notes. E minor and D major occupy the same space with the same notes. You know, E minor and G major occupy the same space. So we don't need to think about 6 different scales. We only really need to think about 3 of those. Right? G major, A minor, B minor, and then C major would be covered, D major would be covered, and E minor would be covered. All right? So hopefully that makes sense to you. I hope you have fun with this, and let me know how things go for you, all right? So stay positive, keep practicing, and remember, if you're looking for any guitar lesson materials, do me a favor, head over to guitarzoom.com and check out our all-access membership, all right? So take care, and I'll talk to you soon.